Big bucks, brawling bucks, wily, wild, and extra wide bucks. They're all on tap as Whitetail Revolution goes on the hunt in the heart of Texas.
Rubs and scrapes everywhere. Come on, buddy, stop. Here we go, here we go.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is.
Man, this is it. I've been waiting all year to get down here for the last hunt of the year. Almost Christmas time in South Texas. The deer should be moving. Man, this place is huge. How big is this place?
Well, the Kennedy Ranch is about 400,000 acres, of which 200,000 is huntable, leased out to hunters. My guys have about 65 to 68,000 acres.
Wow. Being that big, I mean, how are we going to do? Are we going to drive around in the truck, do a lot of glasses from the truck, then get on the ground, do also a lot of spot and stalking through these motts and everything?
That's exactly right. We do a lot of driving. We have very few blinds.
Yeah.
Every now and then somebody that might be a little disabled or something might need to sit in a blind that we bring down, but for the most part, we're spotting and stalking. That's the fun part about this, is we love spotting and stalking. I think it's a fair way to do it, and you get in their backyard where they know everything.
Absolutely,
and,
absolutely.
And to sneak up on a big trophy or a big management buck is just a thrill of a lifetime.
Oh.
We just love it. We're going to be looking for trophies and management bucks. We like to take the 8 points or under, 5.5 years or older, and let these good, nice 10s and 12s grow up to be at least 5.5, so that when people come down here, they can get a buck of a lifetime.
Like a lot of people, when they think South Texas, they think going in, hunting senderos in a big tripod, corn in the road, or sitting over a corn feeder. But I mean, this place, like I said, it's a quail roost, you know, and the deer just happen to be here. So when you come down here, I mean, they're not baited in, they're in their environment. Everything's natural, everything's wild. The mountain game is just amazing.
It is really just a wonderful place. It's so private and so secluded. It's just heaven on earth.
What's the plan this morning?
All right, we've got a good spot I've got picked out in a pasture just south of here. And I think we're going to get out and do a little spotting and stalking right in this area. It's got a big oak mott and a lot of cleared areas in between and inside of the mott. So we're going to go in there.
Sounds great, buddy.
It's going to be good.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Look at this scrape right here. That's been fresh pawed this morning.
Yeah.
You don't think the rut's going on right now? These guys are still making scrapes. Look at this rub right here, Danny.
Yeah.
Rubs and scrapes everywhere. Pretty fresh too.
Yeah, this is a great area. And it's a huge oak mott and it has a few little openings in it. We've been seeing a lot of good bucks in this area. It's an opening in a big oak mott, and it sprawls out for almost about a half a mile, this oak mott. As you can see, we've got a good buck rub right there.
Derived from mata, the Spanish word for shrub, mott is a uniquely southwestern term for a clump of trees on a prairie.
Birds and scrapes everywhere, you bet. Let's just keep the wind in our face and keep moving on. What do you say?
That sounds good.
Number one thing that we're going to keep an eye on this week during our spot and stalk hunt is always watching the wind, checking the wind, see which direction the wind is. The good news is the prevailing wind here is out of the southeast because the wind's coming right off the Gulf of Mexico, and it's typically going to be in one direction. You don't have to worry about a lot of swirling winds like you would in a lot of other areas. One other advantage that you can use, if the wind is up, it cuts down your noise quite a bit, so you can get a little closer.
Here he comes, he's turning around, Danny. He's gonna come back out in there.
If he comes back to the left and gets in that opening, I'll give a perfect shot. I want you to take him, okay?
New Jersey hunter Jeff Herman has shot a lot of deer in his day, but he's never killed a trophy class buck. Last year he decided whatever it takes to finally get that big one. Jeff wasn't looking for a fancy lodge, just good ground with big buck potential. Chats on one of his favorite online hunting forums led to an Oklahoma landowner that was looking to book just a few hunters on his cattle ranch. After just a few phone calls, the hunt was on. Jeff arrived at the ranch and was stoked to find a cool guest house in the middle of 6,000 acres, and you know what? Only one other hunter for the Oklahoma rifle opener. On the first day, Jeff saw a lot of bucks. On the second morning, he pulled the trigger of his .280. From 197 yards out, you know, he could tell it was a good deer. When he walked up to it, he found a monster. The tall time 16-point netted 171 5/8. The rack even had an incredible third main beam. You know, private ranch deals like this, there's no outfitter per se, but you got a place to stay and access to prime land with little pressure. They offer some of the best and most affordable hunting in the big deer world today. So network like Jeff did and always be on the lookout for those great opportunities for your buck of a lifetime.
Danny and I come slipping around the edge of this mott, and we look up and we can see a buck through some brush looking away from us. See, he's real wide and massive, and looking at him, and when we get a good look at him, we see that he's an 8-pointer, and he turns, we see his body, realize he's a good mature 8-pointer and a buck that we want to take out of the herd.
He's going to the left, hold on.
I'm excited, and it's time to put something down, and this is the buck that I'm going to shoot right here.
He's a good deer. Watch him, he's going to the right there. If he gets it back in that mott, we're gonna have to come around. If the wind's still good, coming right at us.
He walks away from us, and he's going back in the mott, and I think that it's over with. That we're gonna have to maybe circle around the other side and try to find him.
Here he comes, he's turning around, dude. He's gonna come back out in there.
Once he came out, I knew that was a perfect buck that we want to take. If he comes back to the left and gets in that opening, I'll give a perfect shot. I want you to take him, okay?
You ready? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good shot.
Yes, sir.
Good job, veteran.
What a stalk. Yes, sir. Let's go put our hands on that buck right there.
Right.
And we knew for a fact that he was a mature buck. He was an 8-pointer. He was a buck that we wanted to take out of the herd. And he stopped quartering away from us, put that scope on him, and the rest is history. Down he went, and we had our first buck of the trip. I gotta love those Winchester ballistic tips, man. Goodness gracious, what an 8-pointer.
I don't think he went 30 yards.
No, sir. Here, I'm gonna
Shot
let
him
you
back
hold
on the other side of that
Dude, right
mont.
there. Get down here and look at this thing.
All right.
Yes, sir.
What a nice one.
That's
What
exactly.
a great buck.
Break some of this off where you can see. That's exactly what you're after for a big management 8-pointer on this ranch down here. They're calling this a management buck on this ranch because he's only got 8 points. But this is a beautiful mature deer. He's 6.5 years old and he's just as smart as if he had 200 inches of horn on his head. To be able to come down here and chase around these old mature bucks, regardless of the size of the rack, regardless of how many points they have on them, it's a trophy every time you kill one of them. I'll guarantee you this guy right here is proof positive that you need to be on your feet moving around down here in East South Texas.
Spotting and stalking in South Texas is that's pretty much the way we do it.
That's the name of the game.
It's a fair chase deal. We like to get out with them. The neat thing about hunting down here is going from mont to mont. We have oak monts, and it's relatively open in places. And this was so neat the way he came out of that first oak mont and came walking through, and we snuck around that this oak mont right over here, and I don't think he ever even saw us.
No, never even knew we were here. Loves putting the stalk on them.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect place in the world to do that. I mean, you look at your trees right here. I mean, where are you going to hang a tree stand? I mean, it's either going to be ground blind hunting or on your feet moving around. And what's more fun, be on your feet moving around or sitting in a ground blind all day? The cool part about coming down here in the middle to late December is the rut is still popping right now.
That's right.
I mean, you know, just left the Midwest, been up there hunting. It's cold, it's freezing. It was 30 degrees when I left the house yesterday morning. And if you're going to kill a big buck like this, you're going to have to go to a food plot. They're coming in, putting weight on to make it through the winter time. Down here in South Texas, these deer are right in the middle of their rut.
Yeah, they're still running hard. Okay, we got our good management buck down. Now you know what we're going to go for.
Yes, sir. Muy Grande.
Mr. Big.
You betcha.
Winchester's Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work, Redfield, the soul of the American hunter, and by Browning, the best there is.
On this hunt, words can't describe how excited I am to be down here hunting again with Danny because there's so many animals. There's white-tailed deer, there's nilgai, there's hogs, there's javelina, doves, quail. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on about the game that's down here. On this hunt, we're going to be looking for good, mature white-tailed deer.
This is my favorite time of year to hunt because the rut is in full bloom.
The sun's just about to break over the horizon. I look up and I can see a buck silhouetted against this mont. There he goes, Danny. He's still on the move. He's still moving pretty good. He's a great deer. He's mature, and when he turns sideways, we see that he only has 7 points.
We knew it was going to be a little tough. When the wind gets up, the bucks like to stay in the oaks. It's blowing probably 25 to 30 miles an hour.
We decided then and there that we need to make a move to try to get closer to this deer because he's about 600 yards at this point.
We're going to have to get to that other mont.
All right, let's go. So we start using the mots and the terrain to get closer to him and get closer. He's just moving on, Danny. Headed east. He's headed to that big mott over there.
The buck was coming across an oak mont and went right out into the opening, and he just kept on going across.
So this buck's got something in his mind somewhere where he wants to eat, and he's not just feeding along. You know, he'll walk a little bit and then he'll take off and trot for a while. So he's going somewhere, and a big mature buck like this, to catch him out in the open, they hate being out in the open, especially in daylight hours. So he's going from one mott to another, probably where he's left a doe. You can afford to try things on a deer like this that you normally wouldn't try with another deer because you know if it don't work and you don't get him, you didn't lose anything, because if you don't make this effort, you're not going to get him to begin with, you know? So we had to, you know, get a little aggressive and run a little bit and cross some open areas that I normally wouldn't want to cross. It's do or die time.
We were about 500 yards, I'd say, from the first time we saw him, and probably snuck up to somewhere around 375.
When we could, we would do the right thing, wait for him to get behind something and then move. Still going, Danny. He hasn't seen us yet. Place in mind that he was going, something that he was doing, that he never looked up our way, and we were able to cut that distance. Come around this edge and we might be able to get a shot. think if we get around this side right here, we'll be able to see him. There he is, there he comes right there.
That's a long way, Alan.
It's all right. I've shot this gun a lot. He's gonna come out in that road down there. Just right up forward to the road.
I think we're gonna have to get over this mott over here. We can get around this mott a little bit closer. Right when he gets behind that mott, I think we can go over there.
All right, buddy, I'm ready. Once he come out of that last mott, I was gonna shoot him, but he never would stop moving. And he just kept going and kept going, and I thought the game was over with. I thought he was gone. For some reason, out of the blue, this deer turns around and he's coming right back to the mott that he just came out of. Whoa, 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 here he comes back.
He turned around.
What spooked him?
If he would have kept going, we'd have never got him. But he turned around, and when he turned around and ran back toward the oak mott, we saw the doe.
We get to looking in the binoculars, and his doe's on the back side of it. That's the reason he was out there to begin with in this wide open country. So mature buck got caught out in the open because the rut's going on. Get a rest.
Okay, there he is.
Is he coming out?
He's about to come out right now. He's right at the end. Here he comes. He's almost to the corner. Here he comes.
All right, I got him. I got him. Come on, buddy, stop. Come on. Come on, buddy, stop. Stop. Come on. Come on.
You might have to shoot him while he's walking.
I want to try him, okay? Here we go, here we go. Could you tell?
It looked like a hit. It looked like a hit.
I'm gonna shoot him again.
Put another one in him. That one's it.
He's down.
Yes,
yes, yes, sir. Woo, what a shot. Yes, sir, that's the buck we're after, man. Well, that's the buck we seen yesterday at the edge of that mott looking right at us, and we couldn't tell what he was. What a buck, baby.
Yes.
That's what I come to South Texas for. What an early morning stalk to get the blood pumping. I thought we had lost him. I don't know what in the world made him turn around over here.
I have no idea, because he was so far away, and then we looked up, we saw his doe.
Yeah, I guess he just come back for the doe. That buck right there, period. The only reason that he's down is the rut is going on.
That's exactly
he's
right.
He's old and smart. I cannot wait to get up there and get my hands on him. I sat in a freaking big old pile of sandburrs when I got on my steady sticks. They're stuck all over me, but I don't even care. The first shot that I shot on him, I couldn't get him to stop. He was too far away to whistle at him. I went ahead and elected to try to take a walking shot.
Hit him the first time, I believe, a little bit far back. There was some stuff in between where he had to shoot. He was walking.
He stood there and allowed me to get another shot into him, and the second shot was just absolutely perfect, and he didn't go 20 yards, and he fell over.
And it was great.
I cannot wait to get up there and get my hands on him.
All right.
Thank you, my friend. That's what we're after right there.
All right.
Look at that South Texas buck right there.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Man, he's a big old 7-point. Look at this. Whew.
What
Look
a
at the
nice
height.
7-point.
Son of a gun. That's 11 and a half, 12 inches long on that G2 right there. That one is too. What a buck. Danny, what a stalk this morning, huh?
I cannot believe he came across these oaks, and I cannot believe he went right out into the open.
Well, now we know the rut's on, and his doe was still on the other side of that mott, and he was coming back to get her. Goodness gracious, what a buck. Look at those main beams on that sucker. That son of a gun right there has got to be 6.5 years old at least. Big old, perfect management buck, long O2s. You know what? We never quite seen the trophy that we were after, but we were able to take a couple of good managements out of the herd while we was down here, so we'll come back and get them next year.
Oh,
what do you
yeah,
say?
it worked out great. I didn't know how I could shoot a rifle until this morning. Lord have mercy, this shot was about 400 yards away. I was a little leery about him taking the shot, but he told me he could do it, and he did. 2 shots, deer down, game over.
What an exciting morning. What a way to end a hunt in South Texas, to get out there and be on the ground, be moving around with these mature, big old South Texas bucks, to be able to put a stalk on one like that and put a shot like that on one. Just a hunt that'll last forever in my memory.
It's so much fun to be around, and I cannot wait to have him back. We're going to do it again.
My grandpa always said, if you want to know somebody and really know them, take them hunting, you know, because you get to learn the core part about a person, really where they're from when you get them out in the woods away from everybody else out in nature. And when Danny and I are out here, man, we just have a great time. We laugh a lot, we joke a lot.
I don't know what I like better, coming out here to shoot deer, coming out and hang out with you.
All whitetail, all the time.
Take him out. Take him.
On Versus.com and Versus On Demand.